live, and it's time for us to talk about the alleged homicide of Kurt Cobain, which you texted me about this yesterday, and I got to tell you, man, because you were also very quick to jump on the hey, they found Tupac's murderer when that whole bullshit story came out, and I was like, man, can you let this fucking guy rest in peace, please? Can we do it?
Hang on. That are you comparing those things? Those are two wildly different situations.
Two homicides,
Okay, but one is
allegedly.
one is for sure a homicide. One
No,
is
no, 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 no.
could
We
be
don't know
a
that.
suicide.
No, 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 no. We don't know that. We don't know that about Tupac.
Okay.
Go ask Diddy. He'll tell you. He knows. He knows what really
I
went
have
down.
no desire to ask Diddy anything.
You don't want to talk to him? You don't
No,
want to see what he has to say about Pac
no.
these days?
That'd be a wild interview today, though, right?
Jesus Christ. Wild because he's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So the Kurt Cobain thing, I I have a hard time. I have a hard time. So like I told you, I can we just let the dude rest in peace? And then there have been documentaries, the Kurt and Courtney documentary. There have been things, the conspiracy theories about, he's three times the lethal dose of heroin. How did he ever do this to himself? And then I heard an interview today. I guess some forensics expert was talking to maybe a doctor or something. How did he? So if he took three times the lethal dose of heroin, which even if it didn't kill him right away, even if you're the heaviest user of heroin, and back in those days, I think I would have to say that people these days have built up a tolerance in ways that we didn't know before because of the advancement in different medicines they can get to counteract what the heroin's doing to them, versus, Kurt Cobain was a junkie. Like you have
oh, okay.
junkies
Okay.
today,
Okay.
but
Okay.
like
Okay.
in 1994, junkies didn't understand what they could do to counteract some of these things, right? So, but I heard them talking about, yeah, if he did take three times the lethal dose of what should have killed a person, even if it didn't kill him right away, it would have slowly been killing him. He probably would have went unconscious. And if he didn't go unconscious right away, it would have slowly just wore him out, right? But he
Let me
had
ask you.
two. Go ahead.
Let me see this. I know nothing about heroin, period.
Oh,
The only thing
man.
I know about is from what
Fun.
I've seen in shows and
Don't say
movies.
movies and shows, you
I
fucker.
am.
How
I
about
but no, but what I'm saying is like every time you see even the junkiest of junkies, when you see them doing it, it's like they take it and then they're automatically just sunk,
yeah,
pretty
of
much
course.
passed
Yeah,
out
yeah.
in the couch. Okay, so you're telling, I don't know how real that is, but if you're telling me that if that's what happens
Maybe
and
you should
somebody
turn on
has
intervention
three,
instead of watching shows and TV
but if somebody has
movies.
three times the legal dose of heroin
Yeah.
in their system,
Yeah.
they're also going to be able to shoot themselves? That's kind of crazy, right?
Well, that's what they were talking about, but it's not just even about the pulling the trigger of the gun, like getting the gun up to your head and pulling the trigger. It's, things they found on at the crime scene, such as, okay, he had two fresh needle marks in both arms, okay? But
Hmm.
his sleeves were rolled down when they found him,
Oh, okay.
okay? And then they found like this neatly prepared junkie kit, right, where everything was put back, the wrap, like the rubber band, the tube, everything. It wasn't on the floor next to him. And this is all alleged. I don't
Hmm.
know. I have not researched this beyond hearing what I heard today.
Hmm.
But he took three times the three times the lethal dose of what could have killed someone. Yet he rolled down his sleeves perfectly, buttoned them up, put everything back neatly, right?
Hmm.
How'd that happen? He
Yeah.
either had the highest tolerances for one of, no, not one of, the most addictive. Like you do heroin once, you're fucked. Like there are case studies on this where like someone did it once and then they didn't crave it again, 24 hours, however many hours afterward. Like small percentages of people have been able to do that.
Hmm.
Usually you do it once, you're done. You're sunk and you're officially hooked and then you got to find your way off of it. So he either had the craziest tolerance or, like they said, it was a setup.
Hmm.
Someone either found him shot up, then blew his brains out, or someone blew his brains out and then shot him up and made it look like he did it. But like here's my if we're talking conspiracies here, which it all
It,
is
but okay,
anyway.
but before you say that, is there any like any possibility that somebody showed up right after it happened and kind of cleaned some things up? I don't know. I'm asking like,
Well, if the stuff is that was going to be my next point. So
okay.
if you're somebody who knows about the usage of heroin and the junkie world and heroin users, not the cleanest people. They don't
Hmm.
tidy up after they shoot, right?
Yeah.
So if you're the person setting this up, wouldn't you know to make it look like a junkie scene versus sort of a cleaned up this there's no conspiracy behind this. There was no foul play here, just him simply taking his own life
Well, so
type situation.
my other question is, you said he had fresh marks. So I'm wondering,
That's what they said.
and
I
do
don't
they
know.
know what the time frame is between when he shot up versus when he was shot? And I'm
That I
saying like,
haven't heard.
could he have had the gun and everything ready, and he just needed
Shoot up,
the
bang.
heroin immediately just to give him enough or not confidence, give him enough oomph to actually pull
I
the
don't know if
trigger.
heroin's going to give you the oomph to pull the trigger. I think that's been
Well,
the whole thing the entire time.
yeah.
And but that's why my whole point about this is like, can we just fucking let the guy rest? Like I
That's
understand
the
like
point.
there are benefits to discovering that this was not in fact him taking his own life, that this was a homicide. Couple of reasons. One, forensic evidence and the ability to investigate and analyze forensic evidence has improved dramatically since 1994.
Hmm.
So it almost in a way proves like, hey, we have the ability to know that this was foul play now. So doesn't benefit him, doesn't benefit his family, doesn't benefit his fans, no one. Makes them more bummed out than they were before.
Yeah.
And then it calls the question, well, who's responsible for this? How do we get them? Right.
Yeah.
But also, there is justice behind it. So that's another thing where it's like, let's serve justice here. If someone was, in fact, murdered or if there was a homicide, we need to figure out who did it. But then also, there was this whole thing after he died about this mental health thing. Apparently, not apparently, but I think he was very vocal and obvious to people with his mental health issues and his inability to deal with fame, his inability to deal with his depression, his inability to deal with his addiction. Like he was a troubled person mentally. So,
Yeah. I
if
mean,
in fact
you're
this,
talking about a band that put out some of the most troubled songs ever, period.
but if in fact this wasn't the result of him necessarily being mentally ill and taking his own life, and it was in fact a homicide, well, then that kind of changes the story behind mental health now, doesn't it? Because for the longest time, we felt like, oh, he needed help. He was struggling mentally. I'm not saying he wasn't if it is a homicide, but I'm saying it kind of changes the narrative behind his mental health and why he's no longer with us. This is dark. This is a dark way to start. But those are the benefits of uncovering this shit. Now again, I'm sort of still like, can we just let the guy rest in peace? Is that possible? But obviously there are people that want to know, and there are people that are not going to let this go away without sort of figuring out what really happened. And you get that with any like we brought up Tupac, you get that with any of these situations. No one believed when Tupac was murdered that it was as simple as, oh, gang violence. He got into a
Right.
scuffle, those
Yeah.
people found him and they blew him away on the streets. Is that possible? Of course. But given who he was, given all the situations he had been in, given all
Mhm.
the conspiracies that had already existed prior to his death, people don't want to let it rest.
Right.
So, fine. But can we let it rest? Is it possible?
Well, my question too is that before all of this came about over the past week or however long it's been, we brought it back up. Who was calling for this to be rehatched? And
Rehashed,
what,
rehashed, hatched.
what, what benefit? I mean,
Well, I
I
just
don't.
explained the
Okay.
benefits. I think
Well,
if you're
I understand. I understand justice. I understand that. And if we know that there's someone out there who did this, and I'm not going to name any names on who, you know, uh, allegedly people think it could be. However, I don't know. I don't know if justice at this point is enough for anyone.
Well, you just asked a question. I'll tell you this. If you're the original investigators of that crime scene and of that crime or of that situation, and you have someone now saying, no, 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 there's evidence proving that you guys were wrong, that could go two ways. Shut the fuck up. I did my job. Take your bullshit away. Or, great, we've made advancements. We want to know exactly what happened because it goes to the competency of the people investigating. Now, again, that could go two ways. Do you prove we were incompetent or did we just not have enough to be competent? I think that's an important distinction to make as well. And
Well, I would also
if,
like to see if that is the case, like who was actually
of
on that
course,
case at the time, because we're talking how many years ago now? 30?
1994,
Yeah, so
which is
30,
crazy to think
32.
about.
Yeah,
Crazy to think about. What was it, March? I think March will be 32 years. I think it was March.
that's
But
crazy.
nonetheless, yeah, nuts. It's nuts. And I, I'd say this. Let's say a week from now, we have 1000% evidence that this was in fact a homicide. Now we're going to investigate who did it. We're ruling it a homicide now. How do the fans of Nirvana and the fans of Kurt Cobain and the people that
Ugh.
remember this situation for what it was, how do they react? Does it give them some sort of peace or some sort of peace of mind? Does it give them what they need to sort of go, knew it all along? Who's saying like
Well,
I
either
think
you're going to have both sides of that. Whether it comes out it was for sure a suicide or it was for sure a homicide, you're going to have people on both sides of that card that are like, "Oh yeah, I knew it all along." Of course. Of course it
right.
was this person that did it, or no, of course he was just mentally ill. He had a lot of challenges and he couldn't overcome them and he did it to himself. It's
It's a bummer either way. Like I said,
yeah.
I don't I personally am not going to be like, "Oh, great. Homicide." Like it doesn't do me it doesn't make me feel well, maybe before I say that out loud I should think. Okay, maybe if it is homicide, do I want to yeah, of course. I want to know who did it. I want to see them punished.
How do you feel differently about the situation if you found out it was a homicide?
I think exactly for what I just said. It's like, "All right, well, who the fuck did it? Let's figure it out." Because again, the conspiracies that we've seen in documentaries and everything else
It's okay in
was
the
Courtney
documentaries that
behind
you've
it.
seen. Well, okay, so my next question was going to be, have you seen any other people that they potentially think it could have been besides Courtney, or is Courtney the main name that is thrown around?
Well, in one of the documentaries, it's alleged that Courtney hired a hitman, this like crazy motherfucker. Have you not seen that?
I've only seen one documentary on this, which was
Do you remember
Bleach,
which one it
right?
was?
Was it Bleach? Is that what it was called?
Okay, so there's a Kurt and Courtney documentary
I had
where
never
they
seen.
go visit this alleged hitman or alleged
Yeah.
person that was hired.
Okay.
Now, it's been verified that this guy's certifiably insane and could have been making the entire thing up. However, because he's certifiably insane, I could very well see why he could do it, you know?
Okay.
But also it goes to my point, like, given where he was from and like the background that they kind of displayed for this person, I think he would know better than to just like, yeah, let's make it look super neat. He
Yeah.
he shot up too much heroin. Let's clean up. Like, no, heroin addicts don't clean up after they shoot up. They just don't.
Yeah. I mean, even the dumbest of person who was going to make that scene look like it was a suicide, have the needle still sticking out of his arm or, something.
Yeah, you don't roll everything up and tidy it up. And what did this guy
The
sweep
the
before he left
the
too? Like,
the
Jesus
only
Christ.
the only other thing, do you know? I think we've talked about him before, but do you know Dan Cummins, the comedian?
I do.
So he does that podcast where he like is all kinds of history episodes, and he did one on
Fantastic.
the yeah on the Kurt Cobain situation. And I can't. It was a long time ago that I listened to it, but I remember also he talked about like how the gun had to have been held and like where the shells were sitting and how they would have actually come out of the gun if he was holding the gun he way he would have had to. to have committed suicide and this, that, and the other. I don't know. It was pretty wild.
So let me ask you something. Can we back up? Because you just
Uh,
said something that annoyed me. Dan Cummings does a history podcast.
yeah,
Why?
I
Does
don't
he at
know.
least make it funny?
There's some comedy in it,
Okay.
but I mean, dude, it's all over the place. Like he does some pretty long form episodes too. So,
And that's his only podcast.
no, he's got a couple. I think he does one with his wife too, and he does several.
How many
I don't know
podcasts
how
do
you
these
don't know this,
motherfuckers have?
dude.
No,
Listen,
dude, you
listen.
know about too many podcasts, man.
Listen. He's a comedian. He has to have four podcasts. That's
I
the
agree.
rule these days.
Got a cash grab. I get it. I get
No,
it.
I like Dan Cummins. I think
I do
he's
too. I don't mind him. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right by me. But see, what's a channel we watch somewhat frequently had something to say about this, and they're gonna bring the facts because you and I are just spitting bullshit. So let's see what they have to say. Let's see what Rockfeed has to say. And I like this guy because he typically doesn't come across as biased. Kind of just, you know, wants the information, plays both sides of the information. So let's see what they have to say.
A new peer-reviewed study was recently released that formally challenges the official ruling on Kurt Cobain's death. The paper,
That's also something I've watched this now 1,000 times while you and I have been sitting here for reasons I won't discuss, but peer-reviewed study. So this isn't a crime investigation, it's a peer-reviewed study. But I thought the initial report on this was actual investigators who were working on the quote unquote homicide. Wasn't that your understanding?
that was my understanding, but doesn't it feel weird that we're, you know, this far removed from this happening and it's a peer-reviewed study?
Well, those happen all the time. Yeah.
Why I know, but to that be the reason why this is potentially reopened? Like I don't understand. I don't know. It just
That's odd to me, but okay, we'll keep
feels
going.
odd to me.
Yeah.
published in the International Journal of Forensic Sciences, presents a forensic argument that the death was a homicide. It's an academic report written by a team of specialists, including ballistic experts, chemists, and medical examiners. Although
Chemists.
this study was published in a smaller open access journal, not the major industry standard. However, the lead author, Brian Burnett, is a heavyweight. He's a court-accepted expert in gunshot residue, who's previously published in the top-tier Journal of Forensic Sciences. In this new report, they analyzed the original autopsy, the shotgun mechanics, and the crime scene photos. Their conclusion is that the official police narrative is scientifically impossible. The report breaks down
Ooh. Impossible?
We're gonna
That's what
find
we were
out.
saying. That's what we were saying earlier, right?
specific technical areas that
That's a tough word to use, impossible. Because I
Yeah.
think anything is possible. Are you a believer in that? Because I am.
I they I don't know
Like
about that.
like
I mean,
5'2", 140-pound mom lifts a car off her baby. Like it's possible. It's happened. Right? Do you believe in shit like that?
that kind of stuff, yeah, because adrenaline can do some crazy
So
shit.
you don't believe
But
5'7", 140-pound Kurt Cobain couldn't have shot up a lethal dose of heroin and then
I
worked a
don't.
shotgun?
I don't
It's,
know.
that's terrible. We're terrible.
they argue point to foul play: the gun, the blood, the drugs, and the position of the body. First is the gun. The police have always stated that Kurt gripped the barrel with his left hand to steady it. But this new study argues that is physically impossible with the specific weapon. Kurt used
Wait, hold on. Grip the barrel with his left hand. He's left-handed. Play guitar left. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to piece this together. He is left-handed. He played guitar left-handed. So if
But
you're
being
shooting a
but being
shotgun, wait, no. If he's
but,
left-handed,
but being left-handed has nothing to do with how you're holding a gun.
it absolutely does. If you're
Well,
left-handed,
no,
you're
but
if you're I am left-handed. If I shoot a gun, I pull the trigger with my left hand. You wouldn't grip the barrel with your left hand if you're left-handed.
I don't know I don't think that's what they're saying on I don't think what
This
hand
is
he is
dark.
the reason.
Dark.
I don't think what hand he is the reasoning why they're saying that he couldn't have pulled the trigger. I think they're saying based off of the way the gun is set up.
No, I know, I get that. I'm just saying if you're gripping the barrel with your left hand, that means that you had it placed like you A, have never shot a gun before, or B, got confused about what your dominant hand is. So, for instance, if I wanted to use a gun on myself, this is so dark and macabre and just terrible, but I would hold the barrel with my right hand and use my left hand, whether it doesn't matter what finger I used, my dominant hand would pull the trigger. You would think, because I'm left-handed, right? Or am I crazy?
I
Am I
I
also
under,
just going down a
I understand your logic, but what I'm saying is what they're saying is because of the way the gun is set up, he couldn't have used his left hand.
why? What
Well,
did I
listen,
miss?
listen, listen,
Okay,
listen.
okay, okay, okay.
D-
Sorry.
The
Rewind,
Remington
rewind it
Model
like 10 or
11
15 seconds.
Okay.
So go back to like 1 minute on the thing.
of the body.
That'll work. Okay.
First is the gun. The police have always stated that Kurt gripped the barrel with his left hand to steady it. But this new study argues that is physically impossible with the specific weapon. Kurt used a Remington Model 11 shotgun. The gun has a mechanical quirk. The barrel has to slide backward to kick out the empty shell when you fire. The experts state that if you held the barrel, like the police say Kurt did, the gun jams. It cannot eject the shell because your hand blocks the movement. However, at the scene, the shell was ejected and found lying on the floor. The study concludes that for the shell to eject, Kurt's hand could not have been gripping the barrel. And if his hand wasn't on the barrel, they argue that he couldn't have pulled the trigger in the manner described by police. Second is the blood evidence. When a shotgun is fired that close, it creates a backspatter, spray of blood back onto the weapon and the shooter. The study notes that there was blood inside the vents on the end of the gun. However, Kurt's left hand, which was supposedly gripping that exact spot, was completely clean. No blood spray.
Right.
The authors say that if his hand was there, it would have been covered.
So also, if
This
this
is dark and bumming me
if,
out.
if
Let's
this
conclude this, man. Oh my
also
God. I'm gonna have
if
damn
this was a
nightmares tonight.
homicide, the person who set this whole thing up was dumb enough to use a gun that a person could not even have committed suicide with
Yeah, it kind of goes back. Yeah.
in that manner.
Well, I didn't even think about that. Well, that's the other thing I did. I don't know guns well enough.
I don't know
I've
guns
I've
enough
I've,
either,
I've
but
fired guns, but I mean, I wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that. So call me stupid, but I man, this is dark. Well, let's transition to something else because this it's making me I'm
yeah, because
creeped
our
out.
other because the other topic we have isn't dark either.
They're all dark, and then we'll play some music and we'll get out of here. But it's creeping me out. But so I guess to conclude our conversation, I'm cool. And who gives a fuck if I'm cool with anything? But I'm cool with figuring this out for the reasons that I've mentioned, like A, justice. B, what comes with justice is someone being punished if it was in fact a homicide. And then I do, and this is gonna make me sound like such a, you know, a softy, but like for the longest time, man, people are like, this dude was troubled. It's not a surprise that he took his own life. Okay, might have been trouble, but he might not have taken his own life. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that does anything for the advancement of mental health and the study
Oh,
of it,
absolutely not.
but it sort of alleviates some of the questions that we all had about him, right? Was he troubled? Was he an addict? Absolutely. But maybe not so much to take his own life. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's anyway, onto something as dark. Well, first off, let's just say rest in peace, James Vanderbeek. What a
yes,
terrible
absolutely.
way to go, given the circumstances and him having to like sell shit to pay for his medical bills and leaving behind
I did
kids and
see did I
a
mean,
family.
did you see that there was a GoFundMe set up and that
I
I think
did.
last I seen there was like he had read like over $600,000 and I think the goal was like 1 million. So it's not going to surprise me, especially celebrities getting involved in stuff that if he's not close, if he hasn't already reached, if they haven't already reached that goal. But I
Which
mean,
is
that
great. Yeah. But
really sucks for his family and all that too. But
yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. I remember my wife showing me videos of him. I don't know. I guess right around when he was diagnosed. Did you see that James Vanderbeek? is sick and has cancer? I'm like, no. Show me a picture. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what a motherfucker cancer is. Can we find, there has to be a cure for
Please
this
God.
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously. Magic
Yeah.
Johnson's been living with AIDS for 40 years, thriving, healthy as a whistle, right? Just fucking, what happened? What are we doing?
Isn't social media such a weird thing when it comes to, especially lately? And we hadn't even talking about this either, but Brad Arnold passed away as well from cancer, lead singer of Three Doors Down.
Yes.
That just
Yeah.
happened last week. Um,
And by the
it,
way, both of them, the worst kind of cancer you can get.
yeah.
Just,
So my question is, isn't social media so weird with this? I don't know how you track or if you purposely try to follow people's journeys when it comes to this shit. But
eh,
I mean, I don't like with James Vanderbeek. I didn't follow it. Like I didn't purposely get on his social media all the time to see how he's doing or anything like that. However, it just like such a short amount of time when it's like,
yeah,
hey, you see it on social media, and then all the publications, the huge media places are like, James Vanderbeek has this, and this is what's happening.
right.
And then it's like, a month later, you see a video of him with his kids or whatever. And then it just seems like, you just randomly see these posts, and then all of a sudden he's just gone. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, that was 6 months ago that he was diagnosed or whatever.
That's what
It's
social
just
media is doing to us, man.
I know. It's just so fucking weird.
People live their lives in front of our eyes and they
Yeah.
live their demise in front of our eyes, dude.
Yeah.
It's it's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross. I wasn't following him on any social media. He just popped up into my algo from time to time and I got to see some of it. And, it's a bummer. It bummed me out and I feel bad for his family. But that's what it is, dude. It's just there. Everything is for everyone to see now, man.
Mhm.
There's just no escaping it. Well, especially like if you're a celebrity, but even like someone like you and I, dude, who's to stop anyone from posting about anything going on with us?
Yeah.
And then it gets to their friends, and then it gets to that person's friends, and then it just becomes a thing where people start asking questions and they start tracking it and monitoring it, and they want to know what's going on. And
Hmm.
you can know,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
people aren't going to stop. I'm not going to put if I'm dying, I'm not posting about it.
Yeah.
But someone's going to know because someone's going to post about it. You know what I mean? It's gross. But
Yeah. But
he had a very good attitude about it, though, man.
when you live a life where where you're in the spotlight and people know you, like you can't just go. I mean, you can, but it'd be very hard for you to live your life being in everyone's eyesight and then because you're battling something to not be giving people updates and not be letting people know
Yeah,
but again, you're saying he had a very upbeat and a good attitude about it,
he
and I
did.
think that makes it better that he's on
It
social
no,
media telling
absolutely.
people
Yeah.
this is what's happening, but
Stay
also like
positive.
yeah, and
It was all about positivity, and he
yeah,
knew he was fucking dying. And like, there are other celebrities that to be honest with you, we don't have to name names, but they wouldn't take that approach.
yeah,
He was never a victim in any of it, from what I've seen. Anyway, all like the posts that I've seen, it was stay positive. You know, love is love. All the shit you should like. Honestly, you're dying. What are you gonna be mad? Some people are, but he lived a good life,
mhm,
albeit cut short. Man, what a dark episode we're doing.
way
Albeit
short.
cut short, but you know, lived a good life, and he's gonna leave behind a great family that, at the end of the day, hopefully they celebrate it. And what else can you do? But let's celebrate. So we gotta find a way out of this darkness, dude.
I
So
don't.
let me just talk. So we're talking about him. I want to bring a. So he has two of my favorite movie characters of all time,
Okay.
and it is not even close. Like, so the first one I want to bring up is The Rules of Attraction, which I'm sure you haven't seen because you're you. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
No, I know of it. I've never watched it though.
You need actually. you don't read, so I'm not even going to tell you to read the book. So just see the movie. So The Rules of Attraction is in my top 10 movies of all time. It is a cult classic. It never was like mainstream. It didn't go mainstream. It had some mainstream people in it, like Jessica Biel was in it. Shannon Sosamon when she was like huge or getting big. James Vanderbeek. Henry Roden Gardner's in it. Your boy, well, he's not your boy. He's your brother's boy. Um, Fred Savage is in it.
Oh,
But anyway, so he plays a character called Sean Bateman. He's a goes to college. He's a low-level drug dealer, college student, and the theory behind this character is that he is the brother of Patrick Bateman, most famously played by Christian Bale in the movie American Psycho.
okay.
Because there's a scene in the movie where he gets on the phone with, I can't remember the guy's real name, but um, it's a guy who has a crush on him. And he says, "Who is this, Patrick?" Which sprung up all these conspiracies, the last name Bateman. And then in the book, there's a reference to this, the book, The Rules of Attraction. So that's the theory behind it. And I want to kind of believe it because they were both like crazy fuckers. One of the best movie characters of all time. And James Vanderbeek did a fucking fantastic job doing it. And when I saw that movie, what I knew of him was, which I'll get to in a minute, Varsity Blues and Dawson's Creek. And when I
Hmm.
saw him in this, I was like, oh my God, this guy's like crazy. Like he can do it all. Like I was like, no, 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 you need to see that movie.
Okay.
And I don't think it's I don't think it's dated either. I don't think it's, how you see like movies from the 90s, 2000s, they had their time and then you see them today, you're like,
Yeah.
this didn't really last, did it? I think this one will.
Okay.
And then John Moxon and Varsity Blues. Any stranger can come up to me on the street at any given point in my life, in any given emotion I'm having, and they go, "What's your favorite football movie?" And without hesitation, I'm going to say Varsity Blues. And it's not even close.
Wow.
They could say, "What's your favorite?" or "What's the best?" And I'm going to give you the same answer. It's Varsity fucking Blues.
I would not have guessed that from you, but
The
okay.
best football movie ever made.
Okay.
And anyone that talks about any of the other one, if you say Remember the Titans, I'll punch your dick because no, it's not. If you fucking don't do that, it's Varsity fucking Blues. And he was the lead character in that movie, and he was great. So let's celebrate James Vanderbeek, John
Okay.
Moxon, Sean Bateman, and then there's Dawson's Creek, of course. It shaped a generation of sappy youngins. Did you ever watch that? That was
No.
before your time, right?
No.
But that was
Yeah.
before your time, right?
Yeah, I would assume, but it's also not a show that would be up my alley. I don't
You watch
think.
Boy Meets World.
I think there's a difference.
Too much drama. Too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much for you. Yeah, I never watched it either. I remember. I mean, I saw it, like I remember it, but I never got into it. I just remember going, man, I hate Charlie Conway even more when that show came out. Like I always hated Charlie Conway in the
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks movies, and now he's in this show, and I fucking hate him more. He sucks. He sucks. Anyway, so
Yeah.
rest in peace, James Vanderbeek. I genuinely a guy like again a guy I like, and anything that I've seen. Oh, he has a. Oh, dude, hold on. Apartment
Oh.
23. Okay, okay.
Oh yeah, that chick was in Dexter,
Yes,
the
that's
new
her.
Dexter.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. So she
Yeah.
was in this sitcom, and I guess the scene is not on YouTube. So James Vanderbeek and Mark Paul Gosselaar, who plays Zach Morris,
Mhm.
made out on the show.
Well,
And
okay.
like the two girls, so it was her and some other girl, I guess her roommate or whatever. They're like, or should we be creeped out, or is this our biggest childhood fantasy of all time? Just watching the two of them. I can't find it. And that's the only, and I never saw that show. I just remember seeing a clip of it, like maybe a year or two later after the show's done. But anyway, give me some new music, please.
Let's do the song is called Pieces and the band is called Lost in Hollywood.
Is this Hollywood or am
Yeah.
I dreaming?
It's basically the same song.
I
I thought you'd
know
love
that
it.
dude, if it is, that would be so fucking crazy. That would be so nuts.
You would just shut your computer off.
I would I'd be like, no, do it. Take it, please. Get it out of my life. All right. Do you need to give me anything about this or does it
Uh,
speak for itself?
I think it'll speak for itself. There's not a music video, it's just a visualizer, but I don't know.
Visualizers are okay. Okay.
Broken, lost in all the memories we shared. Open, wounded. When I cried, you disappeared. Or did you care when it ended? With your life, you said you did. Did you say with a smile when I'm not alright? I'm picking up the pieces of the mess you left behind. I'm sick of all the secrets, all the stories, all the lies. Stop feeling safe, I'm breaking the chains. You were never worth the pain. I'm sick of all the secrets. Maybe we should keep them and break somebody else.
It's cool. I Something about the way his vocals are recorded that's driving me insane. I haven't really figured it out yet. Sounds like he's in a toilet, but
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of views on this, so it could be a matter. I mean, I understand you can do anything today, but still, it could be. I don't know. I'm saying they're not like
I
in a
don't know
probably
where you're going with this. What do the
they're
views have to
they're probably not in a crazy uh recording studio is what I'm trying to say.
It's 2026, man.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I don't know. I wonder.
Well, I want to keep going. So there was something weird going on right at the tail end of that first verse, or it just it yeah. Al would be able to better explain this. Which, by the way, on the episode I did with him, just, he talked about he wants to do an episode of great songs that have terrible vocal flubs in them, and he
Okay.
brought up "Sick Puppies" in the song "Maybe,"
Okay.
and we actually listened to it during the episode. But it's like coming out of the bridge when he goes into that chorus and he does like, always been scared to try that part. Like
Uh-huh.
there's a part out of the bridge where it's more auto-tuned than the rest of the song. And he's like, dude, why did they do that? Why did they leave that in there?
Huh.
And I was like, dude, I'd never noticed that. And but then when I heard it, I go, oh yeah, I have heard that. I just ignored it. I probably thought it was intentional, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he
Well,
he he
I
considers
mean,
it like a fuck up, you
you
know?
would, huh? I mean,
Very, very strange.
you would think what you wouldn't think they would keep stuff in like that if it wasn't on purpose.
I think sometimes you just like, well, I can't speak for them and whoever was producing that, but I mean, I guarantee there are times, obviously I've never been at a Sick Puppies level, but there have been times where I've been in a studio and it's just sort of like, yeah,
I mean, they were when that song came out, they were at a
huge,
pretty high
huge.
level.
Oh, huge, huge.
What was that album? Was it Tripolar? Or was that just a
Tripolar, yeah.
song? That was the name of this band or
Oh,
the
it was, yeah.
album? I mean, that had some bangers, like some huge songs on it.
Oh, yeah. They were featured in a documentary on Netflix that was like the number one trending, and this is before like the Netflix as we know it today.
Hmm.
It was like the number one thing on Netflix for like 2 months straight. It was a documentary about a photographer, and he thought Sick Puppies, he randomly stumbled across them at a festival or something, and he's like, this band's going to change the world. And he like made it his mission to like take as many pictures of them as he could and like tell everyone in the industry about him. I'll find out what that is and I'll text it to you later, but let's
Huh.
get going. We're
That the band was kind of wild at that point too because there were a couple of songs that they came out with that were a lot heavier that like nobody expected. Because when they
Yeah.
started, when they became huge, they were not heavy at all.
Well, I
And
don't think
then,
they were. Well, you're using the word heavy. I would
well,
never consider Sick Puppies a heavy band, but I get it.
compared to what they did before, like what's that song? War, I think was one of the songs.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, I saw Chevelle in an interview like last week, and it was a recent interview. And the person talking to them, and it makes when I watched it, I go, yeah, makes sense. And they actually, so I don't like early Chevelle, like the Chevelle that got popular, like Send the Pain Below. I don't care about any of that. But
Okay.
they have some albums, dude, in the middle of their catalog toward the tail end, so good. And the interviewer was like, you know, you're doing the thing that most bands don't do, which is they start heavy and they kind of normalize themselves to kind of fit in. You guys got heavier with each thing you put out.
Hmm.
And they're like, yeah, it's kind of intentional, but kind of not. It's just what we were feeling. And I love that about Chevelle. Those albums that got more experimental, more heavy, um, you know. Anyway, we're doing a disservice to Lost in Hollywood here. Let's get back to this. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to these vocals more. Here we go.
So long, I keep running out of time. Can't lose, confused. When we kiss, I think you lied. Did you care when it ended? Would you lie if you said you did? How can you sleep with a smile when I'm not over it? I'm picking up the pieces of the mess you left behind. I'm sick of all the secrets, all the stories, all the lies. Something has changed, I'm breaking the chains. You were never worth the pain. I'm sick of all the secrets. Maybe you should keep them to break somebody else. Break somebody. I'm picking up the pieces of the mess you left behind. I'm sick of all the secrets,
That part's cool.
all the stories, all the lies. Something has changed, I'm breaking the chains. You were never worth the pain. I'm sick of all the secrets. Maybe you should keep them and break somebody else. To break somebody else.
Yeah, he has a weird breathy thing that he does with his voice too, that I think mixed with tuning makes it sound a little overdone.
Okay.
He has this
I
like
can hear
weird
that.
like yeah, like he's yep,
Yeah.
yeah, like but he's like breathing in when he does it.
Uh-huh.
It's very off-putting at some time. Like it's not all the time, but some of the notes he hits, it's like very, yeah. It's just, but dude, there have been plenty of vocal. Like My Chemical Romance was a huge band. I think he's one of the worst singers of all time. So I guess it is what it is. You know, it's having that weird affliction or that weird thing that you do with your voice sometimes can help you. Also, who the fuck am I? But that's a cool song. I dig it. At parts. I'll listen to that again. I'll check out more by them.
I bring this up because I seen it right before we started recording tonight. Have you seen Wage War on that Octane channel? Their cover of "Save Me" by Nickelback. It's pretty good if you get a chance. And the backup vocals are amazing.
I'm not sure I know what Save Me is by Nickelback.
Bring it up real quick.
fine.
Let's do
I'll
it.
know it.
Prison gates won't
Oh,
open
yeah.
up for me. On these hands and knees, I'm crawling on. I'll
Holy
reach
shit.
for you.
The harmonies are great.
Well, I'm terrified of these four walls. These iron bars can't hold my soul in. All I need is you. Come, please, I'm calling. And all I scream for you. Hurry, I'm falling. Show me what it's
Yeah.
like to be the last one standing. And teach me wrong from right. And I'll show you what I can be. Say it for me, say it to me. And I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me.
Damn, dude. That was good.
It's good, right?
Those guitars, I am so. That one specifically,
That
that
is
Black Taylor.
pretty.
Oh, that's such a good guitar. God, I want one of those so bad. I ain't got that kind of money for that shit, dog. I got kids. All right, throwback real quick. You want to go new metal or emo? Emo-ish.
Let's stick with emo.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Are you familiar with the band Funeral for a Friend?
No.
Very cool band. Here we go.
Let's jump.
Look at that fucking crowd. And they're like headlining. You know, it's a cool festival when there's a Ferris wheel, by the way. You know, that is a legit festival. They got their shit taken care of. This is shot so well.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like the editing of it is fucking great, dude. Like when I saw this, I was like, oh my God. I forgot how much I like Funeral for a Friend. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Dude, that's on my bucket list. That festival. I gotta go to that. Did you see all
Is
the
that-